Hello and welcome to the Insurance Dudes podcast. This is Craig Pretzinger. I am Han Solo today. Well, I'm not actually in Star Wars, but I am Solo, Mr. Jason. He is camping. But we're going to be talking about the concept of the telefunnel system, which we talk about all the time. It's how we have devised the methodology that we grow business, and have grown our agencies. Since Mr. Jason isn't here to ask me any questions, I am going to throw Mr. AI Craig in here. AI Craig is going to ask questions. It's not me. It is the AI version of me. And we're going to see what those questions are. In fact, I'm not even 100% sure what they're going to be, so it should be interesting. Are you ready? Let's dive in.
How does it differ from traditional insurance sales methods?
So old Craig, back that decade before really focusing and utilizing everything we'd learned from interviewing agents, struggled. And it was a real struggle with consistency. And I'll tell you why. I would try something and I didn't have realistic expectations because I was going off the expectations of the salesperson from whom I bought it. We talk about this in the book. So let's take, those shopping cart ads that they have at the market. Yeah, I think in my first year, I dropped about $6,000 on that. And I was so excited. I thought, oh boy, this is going to be a home run. Nobody else is smart enough to do this. Well, everybody else is smart enough not to do it. So $6,000, I think I got it for 6 months. And then they want to re-up, of course. They had it on auto re-up, which I was lucky enough to stop. But those 6 months generated zero, right? It has my carrier's symbol. It has my phone number and my picture on it, but nobody's writing down an insurance agent's phone number while they're in the supermarket, right? If you need to find a phone number, well, it's very easy. You can just go, at that time, they would have picked up a Yellow Pages. Maybe they would have Googled it, but we're talking 2009, 2010 was a little early for that, right? Social media was just starting to get popular. I think we were moving out of MySpace and moving into Facebook at this point. So a lot of things very different back then. And the access to information also not there. But this was the biggest challenge, was getting some sort of lead source, because I realized after the cards didn't work that I had to do something that was more active, right? Passive strategies, branding are really just promoting the brand that you represent, not yourself. So real important to take that away, right? Before you're buying billboards and newspaper ads and banner ads on sites. A banner ad might even be better, right? Because at least it's going to click through to you. But let's go back to 2009 to 2019. And that struggle was with consistency and not having enough information to be confident and certain with the decision. So person calls from lead company XYZ. They tell me it's the best thing since sliced bread. I believe them. I'm so excited. They say, okay, well, how much do you want to... They don't really ask how much I want to write. They ask, how much can you afford to spend on leads? So all they do is talk about my budget on the leads. They never bring up any important metrics, which still were a mystery for many, many years. Actually, what metrics we needed to track when it came to insurance leads. And we'll get into that in a few episodes. Don't you worry. Those are very important. But you're not ready for that yet. First, we just have to understand the concept. So here we are, buying some internet leads, getting them back, making some calls on them. We didn't have a dialer. We didn't have any kind of, we didn't have a great phone system to track it. I was still trying to find a good phone system. And then I don't know if folks remember a phone system called DYL. That's when I fell into DYL. And I thought, this is it. Now I have the thing that's going to create the right kind of dials, except still the consistency wasn't there. What was the problem? Well, this is what we learned much, much later. New Craig understands this. Old Craig didn't. We have to be consistent. You have to, if you're going to buy leads, you need to buy them for a certain amount of time. You don't buy it for a day, turn them off. You don't buy it for a week and turn them off. You need data, right? You need to be a data company. So when we buy leads, we need to make sure we're buying enough per day. And this is usually a lot more than we're comfortable with, because what old Craig didn't understand at the time was old Craig didn't realize that when they say buy 10 leads because you need to quote 10 people, there wasn't an understanding of the fact that the contact rate is going to be such that we're not going to just all of a sudden grab all of these people, right? We're not going to quote 10 people from 10 leads. It's more like we're going to quote 10 people from 100 leads, at least in the first day. And then if there isn't an airtight follow-up system, this is the telefunnel. If you're not following up to the tune of hundreds of dials per lead, well, it's not going to work. So you can imagine, don't have the system, wasn't making the dials, wasn't being consistent because the results weren't happening, because my expectations were way too high. And all of a sudden, what happens? I pull the plug. If this sounds like something you've done, it's totally normal. This is what everybody's done. And it's what leaves the terrible taste of internet leads in everybody's mouth and why everybody hates them. This is great news. Because everybody hates internet leads, this opens opportunity, right? Now, there certainly are more people in the internet world or internet lead world now as the workforce or as the agency force becomes younger, younger folks come in, used to the internet, not afraid of these leads. This is the time where I guess the saying is you got to shit or get off the pot, because what happens is those who move quicker are 100% going to pass those who don't, right? And I've talked to a lot of agents over the years, all the way back to Agency Vault when I was doing that. Agents are typically hesitant to make a quick decision. And this is what bites people in the butt. This is what bit me in the butt for so many years. I was afraid to make a decision, especially coming off the heels of what seemed like a bad decision just prior. Now, what I realize now, and I think I'm gonna button up here, we'll start another episode here in a little bit, is with the bad decision that I have in my mind. The problem that's even deeper was I thought and was beating myself up over the bad decision, thinking the bad decision was going with this lead company or going with internet leads at all, right? I'm placing the blame on the vehicle, on the mechanism. That is not the thing, right? What's more like the thing that gets sold over and over and people actually get results from, but it doesn't work for me? Or is it possible that I'm running the wrong process? Now, we know what the answer is, right? So I'm running the wrong process, but at the time, I don't see that, right? I don't see that I'm running the wrong process. And because I don't see that I'm running the wrong process, then I'm assigning blame to the wrong thing, which now prevents me from using that thing in the future. That's what, luckily, when we started the podcast and we started interviewing the top agents, we started hearing over and over that kind of broke away this confirmation bias we had in our head. Like, we were believing that it was the internet. We were believing that they were the problem, not us, which is easy, right? There's the ego coming in. Don't want to take blame, want to blame something else. Well, again, if it sounds familiar, if this type of thing has happened, then hold on to your seats, because we're going to dive deep over the course of many episodes to pinpoint all of these things. That is my long answer to your short question, Mr. AI Craig. What do you have for me next?